Okay, so the next kind of type we're going to work with is area type. Alright, and I'll go ahead and reset my character panel, and then I'll come up here, and if I actually come up to the top of my typeface list, it'll actually give me the last few typefaces that I've been using. I'm going to go back to this Times New Roman, and then I'll click and drag an area to add my type, and then I'll hit the escape key when I'm done. Alright, so that's the most basic way of using area type. Well, let's kind of explore some other capabilities of using area type while using the paragraph panel as well. So the first thing we should know how to do is to import text. Now, one way we can import text is we can go to File and Place, and this is where we can actually find either a Word document, a text file, or a rich text file. All three of those will work just fine. But the easiest way that I like to import text is copying onto my clipboard and then pasting into the program. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to actually go to my internet browser. So I'm going to go to Google, and I'll just type in dummy text. I'm going to go to the first search item. This is called Blind Text Generator. You can actually choose the dummy language you want to use for your text. So in this case, we could use actually something with English instead of Latin. And what I like about this is you can set the number of words. So I can do as little as 100 words, or I can go up and go to, let's say, 1,000 words. Okay, I can even set the number of paragraphs, and I could also change this into just, or instead of the word count, I could choose it to just a character count. I'm going to go ahead and stick with words, 1,000 words. I will come up here with my cursor, click and drag, and come all the way down and select all that text. Then I'll hit Command C. I'll go ahead and minimize that window, and then I'll come back into Illustrator. So right now the text is on my clipboard. I'll go ahead and access my type tool, and I will drag a box over the template and release. And now that everything is highlighted, now is a great time to paste my text. So I'll do Command and V, and now it has pasted all of that text onto my template. Okay, so I'm going to hit the escape key because I want to explore a few more options on working with the area type. If I come up to the type menu and go down to area type options, so this is where we get all kinds of options for creating rows and columns and adjusting the margins of our type area. I'll go ahead and increase the number of columns to 3 and make sure the preview's clicked. And I'll go ahead and add 2 rows. I can change the size of the gutter, so the space between the rows and the columns. I'll make that a little bit smaller. I can also increase what's called the inset. So that's the margin around all the text. So I'll give it a small inset spacing, 0.05 for that inset. And then I can change the flow of the text. So right now these columns are actually reading from left to right. I can also make them read all the way down and then up to the next one. And I'll click OK. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and play around with some other options in the paragraph panel. So if you have your character panel already open, usually right next to it in the tabs is the paragraph panel. You can also go up to Window, Type, and find Paragraph. If you don't see all of your options, make sure you go to the options icon and show options. Alright, so I'm going to double click inside here, and I'll go ahead and hit Command A to select all of my text, and I'll kind of go through the different options in the paragraph panel. We can adjust the alignment, so we can have a left aligned, a center aligned, and a right align. We can do what's called justification, so we stretch the lines of text all the way across so there's no rag or no uneven edge. And there's 3 different kinds of the full justification. I'll go ahead and choose justify left. We can indent, which is creating more of a space at the start, so this is indent left. We can indent right. We can also do first line indent. So that's the first line in the paragraph, and we can set that for all the different paragraphs. We can also set the spacing between the paragraphs, so that's right here. So I'll actually decrease. I want that space to be a little bit tighter. And you can see as we do that, that it's bringing in more of the text that we could not see. We can also change whether or not we hyphenate as words get broken up. So I could unclick hyphenate, and then you won't see any hyphens for compound words that get broken up by the line. The other thing we can do is we can go back into the options panel. And by default, we are on single line composer. So basically, the computer is finding the best way to organize all the characters across one single line. When I work with paragraphs, I usually like to work with every line composer. So that changes it a little bit, and it looks at the paragraph as a whole, and it begins to adjust the words more optically. We can also access from the options menu what's called Roman hanging punctuation, punctuation that goes outside of these columns. We can also specify exactly how we want our justification. So right now I changed the minimum word spacing to 50%, and there they gave us a little bit of a tighter tracking between the letters. You can go ahead and experiment with this. And then we can also get hyphenation options, where when we do have our hyphenation on, we can set how long the word should be before it hyphenates, before and after which letters, and so on. Okay, so I like that. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, and there we are. That is working with the area type and also working with the paragraph panel.